Okay. Bon voyage. So, Bo had led Marty and Luther completely around the island twice, and they hadn't gained a foot on the marauding chimp and her accomplice, PD. Okay, so here we are talking about Bo and PD. So Bo is the chimp, PD is that poodle. She's good, Luther shouted, clutching Marty's waist as they jumped a log. Yeah, Marty shouted back. This is definitely not working. Bo's playing with us, and it's getting dark. If we don't catch her soon, she'll climb a tree, build a nest, and go to sleep with PD curled in her hairy arms. The Kolonkoth will sail without us. I can think of worse things than being stranded on Kryptos for 3 months on our own, Luther said. But I doubt your uncle will leave without us. I wouldn't be so sure, Marty said. He gets distracted. He might not even realize we're not aboard until the ship gets to the South Pacific. Okay, so that's another important thing we need to know. So the South Pacific, that's where they're going to find that squid that Grace was talking about in her previous chapter, Moleskine number 319. What about our tracking tags, Luther asked. That Ike's guy will certainly check them before the ship sails. Yeah, Marty said, and he'd be delighted if you and me and Bo were left behind. We'll catch her, Luther said. If nothing else, she'll run out of gas. Gas? Marty thought, glancing at the gauge. The needle was bouncing on empty. He had fueled the thieving Bo's four-wheeler. Thieving. It was fueled with the thieving Bo's four-wheeler just before they met Luther at the dock. They were going to run out of gas long before Bo. Marty skidded the four-wheeler to a stop. What are you doing? Luther yelled. She'll get away. Marty grinned, turning the situation around. Bo put on the brakes and looked back. Just like I thought, Marty said, and he smiled. His smile broadening, right? So I kind of think of this smile broadening, kind of like the cat in Alice in Wonderland, where it magically just got bigger. She wants us to chase her. He looked at Luther. We're going to run out of gas, and the four-wheeler Bo is on is faster than ours, and we're carrying 3 times the weight. Not to mention she's a better driver than you are, Luther added. Very funny, Marty said. Take your helmet off. Why? Bait, Marty answered. I don't get it, Luther said, removing his helmet. Marty laughed. You will if we don't beat Bo down to the dock. Hang on. He turned the four-wheeler around and twisted the throttle handle forward as far as it would go. The moment Bo saw Marty reversing and Luther's orange hair, she roared after them. Bo caught up to them before they were halfway to the dock and made a grab for Luther's flaming hair. Marty jigged the four-wheeler to the right. Bo missed the hair and nearly flipped her four-wheeler, and as she regained control, Marty was able to pull ahead of her again. I'm the bait, Luther shouted. Sure, Marty shouted back. I hope the security gate is open at the dock, and we're going to be bald. Marty zoomed down the hill. Bo was 10 feet behind and gaining. Fortunately, the gate was open. Unfortunately, when the bullet head saw the four-wheelers, they wedged their well-conditioned bodies to the opening like double iron doors. Marty knew that if he didn't get Bo trapped on the dock, they might never get her onto the ship. And if he stopped, Luther was going to get plucketed like a dead Rhode Island red chicken. Halt! The bullet head shouted. Marty wasn't about to halt or even slow down, which must have been apparent by the look of the alarm on the bullet heads' faces. One dove right and the other dove left as Marty zoomed through the narrow opening, followed closely by Bo and the teacup poodle. He turned his head and shouted for the bullet heads to shut the gate so Bo could not escape. One of the men slammed the gate closed. Then they both sprinted down the dock toward the ship. What am I supposed to do when we stop? Luther shouted. Run, Marty shouted back. Get on the ship and find someplace to hide until we can get Bo under control. Luther was off the four-wheeler before it came to a stop. They sprinted up the gangplank with Bo right behind him, having completely forgotten her fear of ships. Snake, Marty yelled. PD jumped into his cargo pocket just as the 2 furious guards reached them. Marty looked back. Sorry, he said, not in a hurry, to join Luther and Bo aboard the creepy ship. Sorry, Bullethead number 1 growled. That doesn't quite cut it, does it? You just violated every security rule we have, and nearly killed us in the process, Bullethead number 2 added. Wolf told me to get Bo aboard the Kolenkov, and this was the only way I could figure out how to do it, Marty explained. And you guys are like Olympic athletes with lightning reflexes. I knew I couldn't hit you with a four-wheeler if I tried. The flattery seemed to diffuse some of their anger. We're supposed to search everything going aboard, Bullethead number 1 said. Not much to search on Bo, Marty said. She's naked and doesn't have pockets. And I can vouch for Luther. He didn't pick up anything on the island. He looked at the Bullethead's hands. They were red, as if the men had been scratching them. You're welcome to search me if you want, Marty offered. Forget it, Bullethead number 2 said. You'd better get aboard. You and your friend are the last ones. We're shipping out in half an hour. Are you sailing with us? Marty asked. Bullethead number 1 smiled. De jour, he said. Marty smiled back. Maybe they weren't as bad as he had thought. What are your names? He asked. I'm Roy, Bullethead number 1 said. Joe, Bullethead number 2 said. Marty looked up at the long gangplank to the haunted ship like it was the tongue of a demon. Do you guys believe in ghosts? They shook their bullet heads. Why is that chimp chasing your friend? Roy asked. She wants to scalp him, Marty answered. It's going to be a long cruise. He started up the gangplank with dread.